Good Friday evening, South Carolina weather watching. I'm your meteorologist, Joseph Peterson. Let's go in and talk about the weather for your Friday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we are going to go on and talk about for tonight. But before we get into that, if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Right now, we have around a good 6 people that are tuning in as we speak right now, and there's only 3 likes. So if you're a part of half of the group that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Also hit the subscribe button if you're new. Right now we are at 653 subscribers. We are 47 away from that main goal of 700. So if you're new, go on and hit it. And we are 22 away from the 3/4 of the way goal of 675. That also, make sure that you go in and share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, even people that you don't even talk to like that, because it helps the channel out, helps the channel grow, and it helps get out better content as well. So just ways that you can go on and show your support. That, and then also one more thing before we go in and talk about the weather for today is that we've made it. We've made it all the way to Friday evening, meaning that we're at the weekend. Yes, we made it all the way to Friday. So we are, just continuing to move our way throughout. But 3-day weekend for, like I said, for most of us yesterday. But obviously for some people maybe not. But I think for a good majority of us, 3-day weekend. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, number one, we will indeed talk about the small chance of rain/snow mix as we go into Sunday. Low confidence right now, but definitely something still to keep an eye on. We also talk about the very cold temperatures as we go early into next week, possibly cold weather advisory as that Arctic air lingers as we go into next week. We're going to have lows back in the low to mid 20s, upstate, inland areas again. Then we also will have some dry and low humidity as well. High pressure builds, mostly sunny, light winds. That goes pretty much as you again going into next week. So we'll have some more fire danger to talk about. And then just for a lot of stuff going on in terms of just frigid cold air as we continue throughout for our future. So that's what today's really just going to be focused on, those frigid temperatures as we continue throughout the rest of the month of January. Now we will see some warm-ups, but for the most part, I think those frigid temperatures is what's going to keep us here. And then also, we'll talk about the weather for tonight, tomorrow, current conditions, short-term future, long-term future, all that stuff. So let's go and talk about current first. Well, right now, nothing is going on right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina except for up here, where it does say some light wintry mix is possible across these mountains. A band of precipitation is expected across the mountains of up here in the very far Carolinas, from Long Creek, South Carolina, over towards Mountain Rest, over towards Rocky Bottom, and over here near the Mountain Bridge Wilderness area. All of these areas over here will receive some wintry precipitation as we continue throughout, like the next, it says, goes all the way from now, goes for about like the next couple hours until we get into tomorrow morning. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at for some snowfall up there. But what about the entire U.S.? Well, we will in fact have some rainfall going on. Rainfall will be going on over here in Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama. Rainfall also going on in Kentucky. Maybe some snowfall going on in Ohio, Indiana. Snowfall going on in Pennsylvania, New York. Also some snowfall going on in Michigan. Rainfall going on in Illinois, Indiana. And even some rainfall going on in Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Snowfall in Nebraska, Kansas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and even up here inside of New York. All of these areas just receiving rainfall, snowfall, all throughout this area. So just a huge area of moisture to go in and look at. But look at over here inside the West. Look inside of the South Central U.S. Look inside of Florida. Look inside even where we are over here. Look in the Northeast. A lot of these areas right here are not really receiving much in terms of precipitation. What about our cloud cover? Well, cloud cover right now, honestly, is more on the non-cloud side, obviously. You can see some cloud cover going on up there inside of the upstate. That's expected, especially as that rainfall slash snowfall, wintry precipitation moved its way up there inside of the upstate. So everybody else, though, clear. And we can even go in and look at that for the future. We start off here at the 9 o'clock p.m. mark. If we go in and push this forward right here, you can see that snowfall slash wintry precipitation as it moves its way into that area, and that cloud cover will continue to move its way inland, even in more into the upstate of South Carolina. Now, this is around 4 o'clock in the morning, all the way to around 6 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock in the morning, and you can start to see that cloud cover starting to cloud up the state a lot more, even as you get into tomorrow, like late morning as well. This right here, this is 10 o'clock in the morning, and it still looks mostly cloudy out there. To 12 o'clock p.m., cloud cover is now kind of splitting a little bit inside the Midlands by the afternoon, noon p.m., the noon time frame, but like I said, still mostly cloudy. We push forward even more to 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. We go all the way past into the nighttime hours of now Saturday night going into Sunday, and we still look cloudy. Even as we go past Sunday morning here, we start to see some relief inside the upstate, and then finally the cloud cover is trying to leave us by Sunday, late morning, early afternoon. And then here we are at 7 o'clock, nice and clear again. Current temperatures right now, we have around a good 35 in Somerville, 42 in Charleston, and 42 in Beaufort, 37 inside of Orangeburg, and even 38 in Georgetown, 43 in Murray's Inlet, and 45 in Myrtle Beach. We also have around a good 45 in North Myrtle Beach, 36 in Conway, and 36 inside of Florence, 37 in Sumter, and 39 in Columbia, 35 Bennettsville, 40 Aiken, 39 Greenwood, 38 inside of Newbury, Lawrence, 37 in Greenville, Spartanburg, Gaffney, York, 39 in Clemson and Anderson. And even if we go in and look at our low temperatures for tonight, you have around a good 19 in Greenville, 19 in Spartanburg, 19 Rock Hill. And so these teams right here will still continue. These teams right here will still continue as we go through into tonight. Let me go in and get this one real quick. Load this one up. There we go. All right. So, turns out, actually, that was the wrong image. This is the right image right here. But, I mean, it's still pretty much the same thing. Still freezing temperatures, 32 in Greenville, 32 in Spartanburg, as well as 33 in Rock Hill, 33 in Columbia, and 31 in Camden, 31 also inside of Sumter, and 30 in Florence, 28 inside of Kingstree, and 32 inside of Moncks Corner, 33 in Walterboro, 40 in Charleston, 33 in Georgetown, and 37 in Myrtle Beach, 43 also inside of Hilton Head Island, and 32 in Barnwell, 34 inside of Aiken. Now, what about your high temperatures for tomorrow, for Saturday? Looks like high temperatures today or tomorrow will be around 52 in Greenville, 54 in Spartanburg, and 55 in Rock Hill, 59 in Sharon, 61 inside of Florence, Dillon, Sumter, Orangeburg, Barnwell, 63 in Charleston, and 62 in Hilton Head Island, 64 in Georgetown, and 62 in Myrtle Beach. So, seems like tomorrow, if you're in the upstate, pretty much if you're inside of like the northern half of the state, and when I say northern, I mean more towards the north and west, you'll be inside the 50s. If you're in the lower half of the state, you'll be in the 60s for highs for tomorrow. Takes like pretty much a direct split. Now, what about for our rainfall? Well, rainfall 107 inch to a tenth of an inch possible inside of Greenville, Anderson, maybe some other areas surrounding, and then maybe even a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch in terms of total precipitation, mainly meaning rainfall, over there inside of the very far upstate. Now, also, with that comes snowfall as well. There also is that bit of snowfall that we were looking for. But it's like very like up there inside the mountains, maybe around a trace all the way up to an inch of rainfall possible. In terms of the amounts, they don't really say much about it. Said minor snow accumulations of 1 to 3 inches will be possible in the higher elevation with spotty light ice. As well on elevated surfaces in the valleys and near the Blue Ridge area. And so it seems like for right now, I think they're mainly just talking about light, spotty ice, but we'll go in and check out the models and see what the models have to say in terms of the accumulation. The crazy score for tonight, if you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how crazy the weather is throughout the entire state of South Carolina. Right now we're at a 47. Why are we at a 47? Well, for one, these cold temperatures, freezing temperatures, will be back as we go back into tonight. So we're still not going to be done with it. We're still not going to be done. So make sure that you're still, make sure that if you're inside of the freezing areas and you need to, bring any pets inside, plants inside, and this should definitely still be a night to do it, even if you're not in the freezing, and even if you're near like 33 degrees, 34 degrees, pets shouldn't be outside in those type of conditions either way. But, for plants, for pipes or anything like that you need to protect, if it's going to be below freezing for you, you definitely need to keep that all in mind. But the freezing temperature mainly being the main area of concern. Also, we'll have some strong radiational cooling, clear skies, calm light winds, extremely dry air that drives that efficient overnight temperature loss, making this another frigid night, especially for the areas that are going to be freezing. There's not going to be any other hazards like fog, gust, storms, fire danger carry over from the daytime. That will prevent it from being inside of the strong category, which is the 51 plus, which we still have not hit this year. We got to 59 this morning, so we'll see if we can get into the 51 category, or if we ever will get into it for this year. Hopefully not, but things obviously will happen. Rather it be severe thunderstorms, blizzards, hurricanes, tornadoes, anything like that, and hopefully never inside the catastrophic category. Which the last time we saw that was when it was like feel like temperatures near like 120 degrees outside earlier this last summer. Now let's go in and look at our SPC outlook for tonight. Thunderstorms are not expected for tonight. Same thing with tomorrow. And for Sunday, we're good in terms of thunderstorm activity. Excessive rainfall, same thing. We're not looking for anything here either. So let's go and look at the short-term future. Well, we start off here at 9 o'clock p.m., January the 16th. And as we go in and push this forward, you can see that rainfall starting to move in from the Tennessee area, moving into Alabama, moving into Georgia, moving into North Carolina here at around 1 o'clock in the morning. And then as you go all the way to around 3 o'clock in the morning, you're starting to see some more rainfall starting to move it now into South Carolina at 3 a.m. Now, some of that, like I said, will be some mixed precipitation, rather it be with rainfall, ice, sleet, snowfall. It could be anything on the wintry side on those mountains. Now, go all the way to 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, all the way to 7 o'clock, and we still see some rainfall, not only in the mountains, but like I was talking about, in that Greenville, in that Anderson area, maybe a little bit in that northern Spartanburg County area. We have some rainfall going on over here in the lower elevation areas. Is it snowfall? No, not snowfall, but it is some rainfall moving its way through. We go all the way to 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and one thing that you see here is this rainfall is still not done. After it gets throughout the upstate, it will continue to move its way into the Midlands. You can see here around 10 o'clock in the morning, you have some spotty, very spotty, in fact, like very isolated drizzles going on inside of the Midlands, maybe peaking a little bit as you go into the southern Midlands, the PD area, going on inside of the Grand Strand area in the afternoon. And it makes it to the low country. I mean, like later in the afternoon. Like when I say later, I mean like very much later. You go all the way to around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. And then after you just see this day of just spotty, isolated showers, nothing really too crazy, you start to see this new area of moisture coming in. And I'm kind of looking where it's coming from. Looks like it's coming from the Gulf. And that energy is going to pull itself into the state here, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and look how we get into tomorrow night at 12 o'clock in the morning, and you have all of this rainfall now going on inside the Midland area. So, like I said, if you go to bed early, Saturday night, and you wake up and it's, wet outside, probably because it rained, and it's not only just for that little bit of time. I mean, it's going to be like that all the way potentially through like 4 to 5 o'clock in the morning, and then you'll start to see some of that rainfall transition into like the Tri-County area around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, all the way over to 7 o'clock in the morning. This is Sunday morning right here, and we have a bunch of rainfall going on. now throughout the low country, going on throughout the Grand Strand areas, going throughout the PD areas, and still going on throughout the Midlands, 8 to 9 o'clock. And then you start seeing the winter precipitation start to make its way into the state. You have snowfall potentially going on all the way throughout the western parts of the low country around 10 o'clock in the morning. And then that even happens on the coast. I mean, you could potentially see some mixed rainfall and snowfall down there near Hilton Head Island, down there near Beaufort. And while up there, in the Tri-County area near Charleston, over there near Georgetown, over there inside of Conway, inside of Myrtle Beach, it's still raining. And that snowfall does not quite get there according to this model. We get to 1 o'clock p.m. on January the 18th. Rainfall is now trying to move its way off, and it moved its way off. We are dried out by that time, and by 4 o'clock p.m. on Sunday, we're nice and dry, enjoying our time in the sun. Hopefully. Should be. To end off the weekend. But that's just one model run. Obviously, that's just one model run. I do want to go in and check out the total snowfall, though. And you can see, some of these rates right here, for this model at least, has it to where you're around like a good tenth of an inch to an inch of rain, to an inch of snowfall. Going on down over here inside of the southwestern part of the state, mainly over there inside of like the western low country. Will it stick though? Like I said, I don't know if it will quite stick. Even if we go into the total positive snow depth change, you don't see it that much, just because it's not really going to stick that much. Not really going to stick. So it's not going to be cool enough, to say the least. Not going to be cool enough. If we go back over here, you can see there goes the snowfall right there. These temperatures, if we go in and look at them, only going to be near 37, 38 degrees. That's not enough for snow to stick. In order for snow to stick, has to be down, below freezing. And so that ground is not going to be cool enough. That ground's not going to be cool enough. And that's the whole reason why we're not going to be seeing any sticking just throughout the state. Just because, like I said, it's not going to be cold enough. Not going to be cold enough. So we're just going to have to get lucky with that, hopefully in another scenario, but I don't think this scenario will be the one, as it's just not going to get to below freezing. We can go in and look at the NAM, though. If we go in and look at the radar for it, let me go in and get rain and frozen. We go in and push this forward past up here. And then you can see as we go our way through, you can see it actually has snowfall right here, 7 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning, over here inside of the more like southern upstate, more inside the Midlands as well. And it has a mix of rain and snow up there. And it actually has it snowing a good little bit up there inside of the Midland area in the western PD. And it moves its way, tries to make its way inside the low country, but not too much. Not too much at all. And it kind of ends off as rain. And then it moves its way off the coast. Still has some isolated rain / snow, like spots going on, but nothing crazy at all. And if we go on and look at the depth, let me see, do they have the depth? They do. They actually have a good bit of depth, actually, from this. If you go on and look at the actual total snowfall, shows a good little bit, it's an inch or two, but I think the NAM here is a bit more on the think that it could possibly, accumulate just a little bit. Now, a tenth of an inch, maybe half of an inch, maybe trying to get close to an inch. But like I said, it's not really much at all. Nothing you can really play around with. But the biggest difference between that model and the one we just saw was that you can actually see these temperatures are starting to get below freezing. Now, you can see right here, around 1 o'clock in the morning on the 19th. But you can see these temperatures right here are a little bit lower than what the HRRR does, than what the HRRR has. And so, like I said, we'll continue to watch. We'll see when these two models start to agree, because these both pretty much are the short-term models. HRRR thinks snowfall is going to happen in the western low country. The NAM thinks it's going to happen inside the Midlands. They're still not together yet. They are still not together yet. Even if we go on, I do want to go and check out the dew points, see if we have any cold fronts passing. Looks like we will obviously be having a cold front passing on Sunday. Right here, this is Sunday night right here, going into Sunday afternoon. Cold front passing through. Will this provide any sort of gusty winds? For the most part, it looks like that it will try to. It will try to, potentially, but even if I go in and look at the actual max wind gust for that day, this is for Sunday. I mean, yeah, it's not much. Not going to be much at all. So I think that this cold front that's pushing through is not really going to produce much in terms of wind. Maybe up to 20 miles per hour, but that's it. Nothing really too crazy there. And this will also bring our next fire threat as well, which we'll talk about that as well in just a second. Let's go on and talk about the long-term future. So we're going to kind of just show you what the GFS has. The GFS kind of agrees more with the NAM, where it has that rainfall and that snowfall going on inside of the Midland areas, not too much inside the low country. And as it moves its way through, nice and dry, but unfortunately it will be frigid cold. What do I mean? Well, if we go and look at the actual temperatures themselves, these are right here the low temperatures for this right here is going into the 19th, so that is Sunday night right here. Sunday night, we have temperatures down in the 30s, 20s for a good amount of us. Low temperatures right here. This is for Monday night. Temperatures will be back down in the 30s, be back down into the low 20s. You think we're done? Absolutely not. Low temperatures right here for Tuesday night. Temperatures will be back down inside the 20s. So as we go through Sunday night, Monday night, and Tuesday night, it's going to be a frigid, cold couple of days as we go into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So make sure that you are still prepared for it. Freezing temperatures aren't going anywhere. As we continue our way forward even more, some more rainfall seems to want to try and make a little bit of an entrance as we go into the 23rd, going into the 24th a little bit. Looks like, may bring some heavy rainfall with it, but that's, all that I'm seeing here. Seeing another little system as well. This one seems to be trying to bring in some winter precipitation as well, in the mix of freezing rain right there on January the 25th. Again, too far out, but something to look forward. And even I've seen some people talking about it, saying that they've already moved on to this weekend because they think that not this weekend, but next weekend, on the weekend of the 21st, or the 24th and the 25th, because they're looking for this little system right here, seeing what this little system can do. So we're not done with winter weather precipitation. I'm saying that we still have a lot more opportunities to get snow. We are not done. We are not done at all. So we'll continue to watch for it, but like I said, we still have a lot more to go. That will move its way through, bringing a lot of snowfall up to the north in like Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, up into Maryland, Pennsylvania. I mean, if that was to occur, but that would be pretty interesting to see. The only thing we need for this, if we wanted to get some snow, is for this low pressure to be down south a lot more. If it was down south and you're like Florida, down there, I mean, we'd be talking about a good amount of snow right there if that was to occur. Push this forward as well. Same thing right here on the 28th. Another low pressure. If it was just a little bit further to the south, we have another opportunity for snow. And then after that, I think that's about it in terms for the long-term future, in terms for convection. Just system after system after system. And with these systems, obviously, comes with those cold fronts. Cold front after cold front after cold front after cold front after cold front, just over and over and over again right here on the 18th and the 19th. We have another one going to like the 24th, going to like the 27th, going into like the last day or so of January, maybe even going to early February. Some more cold fronts just over and over and over again. And as well, with these cold fronts, you also have to look for a little bit of a fire risk as well. Now, the wind's not going to be too bad, but with these dry conditions, obviously you have to be careful with fire conditions. Now, they don't have anything for us, in terms for our fire weather conditions, but from what I've seen from National Weather Service offices, they still think that there's still like a small fire risk, a little elevated fire risk that we're going to have to look for, especially as we go into the early part of next week. As you can see just how low these dew points are. I mean, we're in the teens for a lot of us, 20s for a good amount of us as well. So that's pretty much all I have to say here in terms of the long-term future. Let me see if I'm missing anything. That's not what I want. Move this over here. me see if I'm missing anything. I believe that I'm covering all. Talked about frigid temperatures. Talked about the dry and low humidity ranges. We even talked about the very cold temperatures as we go into next week. Small chance of rain, less snow. We talked about that. And so I think that that's about it. So let's go on and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off, my Aunt Lulu was here first tonight. She says, good evening, everyone. I pray that everyone had a great day. I did. Well, thank you so much for that. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone. Hope you all had a great day. I did. Thank you so much for that as well. My Aunt Lulu says, today in Georgetown, it was a cold. Lots of sun, but it was cold. Lots of sun, but it was cold. Same thing where I was, but the wind wasn't bad. In fact, I mean, to be honest, to me this morning, it didn't really feel that cold. You know, it was 20-something degrees out there. And it was, I just went out there in a couple of t-shirts and then a hoodie, and I was fine. I was good to go. It wasn't really that cold. I guess because that wind wasn't really whipping. I remember I think it was yesterday I wore a hoodie out there, and I thought that thing would shield me from the wind because of the material. That thing did not help. That thing did not help. I had to walk outside for about like a good 10 to 15 minutes. That was not fun. I thought that hoodie would do way better than that, but that hoodie just completely just let the wind straight in towards my skin. So was not fun for that little bit. But I got another one. That one, didn't really do that bad. It didn't do that bad. Then Mr. Chris says, please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone you know. It's free and it helps the channel grow. He's absolutely correct. Right now we have around a good, 20 people that have tuned in and only 8 likes so far. So if you're a part of that 12 that have not hit the like button yet, go ahead and do so. And also subscribe if you're new. He says currently it's also 35 degrees here in Moncks Corner. Right now at my house it's around 32. It's around 32 degrees. So already below freezing. Now and then continue our way down. My Aunt Lewis says we did get a high about 48 degrees. Mr. Chris says he got a high about 50. At my house for today, we got a high temperature of around a good, wait for it, a good 48. 48. So we're around same thing over there in Georgetown. Thad says, good evening, Joseph and the 360 Weather family. I trust all is well. All is well. All is well. Then as we continue our way down, my Aunt Lewis says, even though it was cold, I did go out. My Nana says, hi Jay and all, a chilly but nice day. Well, thank you so much for that weather report for where you are, and glad that it was a nice day for where you were. Thad says, I hope everyone is staying warm and comfy during this crazy weather. When I woke up this morning, it was 47 degrees. 47. So a lot warmer than it was inside of South Carolina, I'll say that for sure. But for those standards over there in Texas, probably was pretty chilly. My Aunt Lewis says, wow, Georgetown has some great weather tomorrow. And then Trail says, greetings everyone, cold day, cold here today, oh no. He says, I'm in bed under 50 blankets. Well, I do not blame you. I do not blame you at all. Tish says, hey Jos, hello to you. And then my Aunt Lewis says, noonday weather report said today that he didn't want to disappoint us who wanted snow, that there will be none. The same thing you said, nephew. Yeah, it's just not that, it's not going to stick, pretty much, and it's not going to be enough. That rain is going to mess with it, those temperatures that are not quite low enough, that's just going to mess with it, and unfortunately, it's just not a huge barrier of snowfall. Like, if you remember last year, when we had that snowfall in, I think it was early 2024, when we had that huge amount of snowfall that came through, that was a big snow system. I mean, the entire state, almost, it was snowing. And so, well, at least it kind of, switched. It was like half the state got some snow, then it kind of shifted its way down. And we got a lot of snow over there inside of the low country, Grand Strand areas. But it's just not that type of system. Not that type. And then Mr. Michael says, good evening. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful day and had a wonderful and blessed day tomorrow. Thank you so much for that. My cousin Cheryl says, good evening, weatherman. I've been under the weather, but I'm glad I can hear you now. Good evening, everyone. Hope all is well. It's very cold up here in Philly, so weatherman, do your thing. Well, thank you so much for that. I'm very sorry to hear that you've been under the weather. Hopefully you'll get better. And then Cheryl says, 15 here this morning. Yikes. Yeah, it's very, very cold this morning. And then Mr. Chris says, just rechecked. It's 33 right now. So yeah, getting closer. And so that's all that I have for the main South Carolina forecast. I may still come back and do some other stuff in case I find something. But let's go ahead and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 locations, what am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And because they tune in almost nightly, we go on and talk about their forecast. And their location is not even the main one that we talk about, yet they still show their support. So we're going to start off with San Antonio first, with low temperatures tonight around 40, high temperatures tomorrow at around 57, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 29. Precipitation is not expected, and that's actually a bad thing, because tomorrow, red flag warnings in effect, 25 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts for you over there inside of San Antonio, and you'll have, those low humidity values. You have an elevated fire risk, so if you don't have to burn anything tomorrow, I mean, that goes not only for San Antonio, but up there towards like Austin, Victoria, Corpus Christi, Waco, Texas, all these areas. Definitely should not be burning anything outside, as it is not going to be the right condition for it, and it just should not be something that you should be doing tomorrow. In other words, in terms of severe weather, nothing. Looks like that you are going to be relatively on the quieter side there. Other than that, for your long-term future, look like you will warm up, especially as you get towards MLK Day. Highs going to like the high 60s, but then you'll cool back down as getting to Tuesday 58, Wednesday 54 as well. Or, excuse me, those are low temperatures. Highs highs around 64 again, and then you'll go into Thursday and Friday actually warmer, around 71. So you'll cool down for a little bit like Tuesday and Wednesday, but then you'll warm right back up Thursday and Friday. And you might see some precipitation as well as you go into Tuesday night and Wednesday. So some relief there definitely possible. For Raleigh, you have low temperatures tonight at around 32, high temperatures tomorrow at around 51, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 36. Precipitation is not expected tonight or tomorrow, but tomorrow night, rain is likely, and Sunday, you have an 80% chance of rain and snow. So pretty much you're going to see some rain/snow mix as you go into Sunday. So, we'll see what happens there in terms for your temperatures for the future. Looks like you will cool down even more. Tuesday, 36 is your high, and then you'll warm back up as you go into Wednesday and Thursday, but it looks like that you'll just continue to be kind of like on the decline as you go all the way into tomorrow, Sunday, MLK Day, Tuesday, and then for the most part, it just seems like just that main thing being Sunday. No severe weather, no excessive rainfall for you either. For Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight around 30, high temperatures tomorrow at around 41, then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 30. Chance of snow tonight, rain/snow is likely tomorrow, and a chance of snow tomorrow night as well. And so snow will be pretty much your main concern. But in terms for your future, it looks like you will cool down even more. Like, for example, your low temperature on Sunday night is 22. Guess what your high temperature is on Tuesday? 22. So your low temperature for Sunday night is going to be your high temperature for Tuesday. And so that will just continue to go down till you get to around Wednesday. You'll warm up to 34. That seems very weird to say that you'll warm up to 34 degrees. 41 as your high on Thursday. And then you'll cool back down Friday, 33, with another chance of snowfall again on Friday. So you're going to be just continuing to get hit with snow. In terms of severe weather, excessive rainfall for you, nothing for you either. For Duncan, Oklahoma being the last location with low temperatures tonight around 27, high temperatures tomorrow at around 46, and low temperatures tomorrow night at around 18. Precipitation, not expected at this time. In fact, again, not a good thing. You have some severe weather, not, with thunderstorms or excessive rainfall, but with that fire concern. As you go into, tonight you've already pretty much received your threat for tonight. You had a critical fire weather risk for tonight, for today. But but on Sunday, not tomorrow. Tomorrow you take a little bit of a break. But on Sunday, another little fire risk here, 40 to a 69% chance of critical conditions again. So you have to watch out. Don't burn anything on Sunday if you don't have to. We'll see what happens here. But I still, just be on the safe side. Don't do it. And then for your future, looks like you will kind of just be in that 50 to 40-ish range until you warm back up to around 62 on Wednesday, but then you'll drop back down to the 50s Thursday and Friday. And so that's all that I can see here in terms for these 4 areas. So what's going on throughout the entire U.S.? Well, right now, it looks like a Clipper storm will move across the Great Lakes through this weekend with periods of light snow, gusty winds, and lake effect snow bands, which will make for hazardous travel at times. A frigid air mass will spread east behind the storm into the Midwest and through the eastern United States through the weekend. So we'll continue to see that. We'll see some fire concern, like we talked about, down there in Texas. We'll see some fire concern in Nebraska, eastern Colorado. We'll see some dense fog out there, especially over there inside of California, rather it be from Fresno or Bakersfield. We also will see some freezing temperatures in Georgia and Florida again. Some more winter weather will go all the way throughout the northern central U.S. all the way over into the northeast, and even some blizzards potentially possible over there as a blizzard warning is in effect for tonight over there near Grand Forks, North Dakota. So a lot of things going on, But this is, about right for this time of year, going into January, going into now like the mid part. We're not really too shocked by that. That's all that I have for tonight, though. Make sure that if you have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. Also, make sure that you go on and hit the subscribe button if you are new. Right now, we have around a good 24 people that have tuned in and only 8 likes so far. If you are a part of that 16 that have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. It's free, and you can change your mind at any time. That, and then also hit the subscribe button. We're at 654 trying to get to 700. Thank you to whoever that was that just hit the subscribe button. But we are right now at 654. So we are 46 away from the main goal of 700, and we are 21 away from the 3/4 of the way goal of 675. So we're making our way there more and more and more. But we just got to keep on sharing with the people you don't even, with the people maybe you meet at the grocery store, somebody that you met at Dairy Queen, or somebody that you met at Krispy Kreme, or Dunkin' Donuts, or Starbucks, or Zaxby's, or McDonald's. It doesn't matter. Just somebody that you can go on and share it to. So you can go on and be a part of this channel. Top fan of the night tonight. We had a lot of people tonight. We had like 10 people in the running for this for tonight. In fact, we have like a lot of people that were actually close to being tied. But Mr. Chris still at that number 1 spot. I'm actually going to have to count for this one, but I believe my Lula was at number 2. Trail was at number 3 for tonight. So yeah, those are the 3 for tonight. Again, that being Mr. Chris at number 1, my Aunt Lula at number 2, and then Trail at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. If you want to be a part of the top fans, you can. You just have to join us here at 9:00 p.m. You have to be here early, you have to be active, and you have to be a subscriber of the channel. The more that you type, the higher up the board you'll go. Mr. Chris says, everyone, please remember to go in and stay warm and stay safe and hydrated. Check on the elderly and pets, absolutely. As it is already below freezing. Right now where I am, you see up there in the top right corner, conditions at the weather house, 32 degrees. 32 degrees. I will be back tomorrow morning with your Saturday morning forecast update. Make sure that you are there. We'll also be here again tomorrow evening as well for our 9:00 p.m. forecast update, same time. I also have a video that's going to go up. Not going to be weather related, but it's going to be something some might find. Either you're going to find it funny or you're not going to find it funny. I'm not quite sure, but I'll explain more about that as we get more towards that time frame. But again, not really a weather video. It's another video that I have coming up It has to do around the year of 2025. So I'll go on and explain that once we get there. But that video is gonna be coming out soon as well. I'll announce what it is. But I will be back, like I said, tomorrow morning. Make sure that you are there and hit those 2 buttons before you leave if you are new.